Detroit, showtime.
Good evening, this is the what is it?
23rd.
February 23rd meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. First up, zoning Board of Appeals, go ahead, first up.
All right, Appeal 2021-028, Patricia Pancheck, reopened, 70 Park Road, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-16-3-5, RA40 zoning. For variances and/or relief from Chapter 301, Section 11, where proposed impervious surface coverage is 44.5% and maximum
Recording in
permitted
progress.
is 15%. Project reduces current impervious surface, which is presently 49.1%, where proposed side yard setback is 7.5%, 7.5 feet to dwelling and 6.8 feet to the proposed deck, and minimum required is 25 feet for principal structures and 20 feet for accessory structures, where proposed front yard is 19.6 feet to the roofed over unenclosed porch and 22.9 feet to the dwelling, and minimum required is 50 feet. Where proposed rear yard setback is 29.5 feet and minimum required is 60 feet. And where proposed detached garage is 5 feet from the rear and side property lines and minimum required is 20 feet. This was adjourned from February 9th.
You've been sworn in before there, Mrs. Pancheck, so just pull that microphone down. I might have to swear you in again, so let's raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and your address.
Patricia Pancheck and 8 Pheasant Court, Riverhead, New York.
Okay, so we're trying to get this thing straightened out now, so what are you looking to get done here?
I'm looking to clarify the bushes that I have to put in. I thought it was between the, so I could hide my deck. So I just wanted to clarify what it says, because it's a little confusing even for the building department what it says.
Okay.
Did we have the determination from last time they were here to approve the building? Because I wanted to see what we said in the determination. Under the conditions, do you remember what the conditions were?
It said how to plant bushes.
Plantings.
Bushes, yeah, plantings.
So
And
that
again,
can
I
be
don't-
interpreted in a million ways, of course.
Right.
Was it the first one?
Second, I would have.
Well, it was reopened, so it was 21. I got it.
This is from the
Yeah, I
20,
think-
No,
26, January 26th.
this is from 6/24/21. Not the one.
that's it. Arborvitae's or green evergreen trees shall be planted along the property line to provide screening between the subject property and the property to the south. So obviously the conditions that exist there, this condition is confusing
Right.
because we have a 6-foot fence on the side of the property
Yes.
and your deck is elevated.
Yes.
So I'm assuming the neighbor is opposed to leaving it blank and wants you to put some kind of a
Jen,
like a...
see, if you had joined with video, Jen, this is what you'd be seeing.
Huh?
That's what you'd be looking like right now.
Hey, this is not a party line.
Anyway, so the chairman asked us to reopen this, and I guess we all want to know what both sides have been talking about, if any. Have you talked to the neighbor?
No, I've only talked to the building department.
Okay, so I take it the building department will issue a CO without this getting resolved.
Right. And they told me I could build a privacy wall on my deck.
A privacy wall, okay,
Right.
that's his idea, okay.
Okay, that was his idea. But that isn't really what we want to do. So I thought we could put trees up there, evergreen trees, so that you couldn't see through the deck.
You mean potted.
Potted,
So you started out by putting 2 already, right?
well, I put 3.
Oh, now there's 3.
But
They're growing.
there were 3, no. But I could put 2 more because there's probably a space to put 2 more. Because
what-
they are gonna grow wider also, and taller. But
Did
the
the
building
building
department said
inspector?
I couldn't do that, but I could put a privacy wall up.
He said you couldn't do that, but so if we reopen the case, we can change the condition. Excuse me?
He didn't accept them.
The trees.
Yeah,
You can't talk.
okay.
I have no problem with whatever they want to put in.
Well, if we change, if we amend our determination from 21, he would have to abide by it, the building inspector.
Right.
But it has to be clear as to what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that never usually happens. So, what I want to do is, I would like to hear from the neighbor
Sure.
and see what he is looking for as opposed to what the building inspector's looking for. But the building inspector sent us a letter asking us to, deal with some drainage issues, which I'm not sure what he's talking about, but
I'm not even, okay.
Just raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
State your name and your address.
My name is Keith Fowley. I live at 58 Block Road, and I've lived there for 23 years.
Okay.
At the last hearing, everything that the Panchaks wanted was granted for them. I was denied everything. When they finally said they were gonna put up a deck, I didn't even know at that time it was gonna be 3 concrete blocks high and then a floor joist. So it's probably it's even higher than I thought. I have a picture here, but if you gentlemen saw it, I don't wanna bore you. But it's way over a 6-foot fence, stockade fence that I got. And it was at the last time, it was Mr. Bond's joke, you don't have to worry, because they said I didn't want little arborvitaes planted. Mr. Whitmire was the one that suggested them. And I said, I just didn't want little ones, because I'm not gonna be living to 100 to see them give me any privacy. I'll be dead. So, I think you care, I said, I think you'd care about the privacy at your house. Mr. Barnes responded, of course, we all do. But you should see my arborvitaes, they're 15 feet tall now. Mr. Fowley said, if she agrees to put in grown arborvitaes, Mr. Barnes noted, she said she would. We'll actually put in the condition. How's that? Mr. Fowley replied, good. A motion was made by Mr. Seabrook and seconded by Mr. Whitmire that the appeal be granted and the following conditions. Arborvitae or evergreen shrubbery trees be planted as a buffer to provide screening between property lines. The motion was carried by all. The conditions, arborvitaes or evergreen trees shall be planted along the property line to provide screening between subject parcel to the south. Me. Now,
Is that your fence, Mr. Fowley?
what?
Is that your fence between the properties, or is their fence?
Mine,
The 6-foot fence?
yes.
Okay.
And there's one spot where it's that far underneath where they say there's no runoff, but it was caused by that. And if you stand on my deck or anywhere in my backyard, there is no privacy if someone's standing on that deck. It's not like we're equal, looking at each other. I really can't see their entire deck. They can see everything.
Don't you
And
have, excuse me,
Yes,
don't
sir.
you have some trees inside your fence line? They gotta be almost as tall as the new house next door.
There's some dogwoods there.
3 or 4 of them hit about the middle of the house. And I imagine if they're full of leaves in that, I'd like to know what you could see from their deck.
Nothing is in between the deck,
No, deck's wide
and
open.
there's nothing to obstruct that view.
Well,
That's why you suggested the arborvitae's last time.
That's fine. Now, we're not talking about the last time. We're talking about right now and what your problem is with them looking down into your yard. I still don't know how they look into your yard when you have three sizable trees inside
I
your...
don't.
Okay.
Not back there. But still, I mean, the plantings, you can't put plantings on a deck like that.
No.
It doesn't work.
Yeah,
Well,
if I may,
she's trying to make an attempt to put some plantings in
can I
pots.
show you?
Well, we've been there.
Well, we went there, but you can bring it up. I mean, when you came to the hearing, well, I'll wait till you get back to the mic.
You can flip along. I mean, I thought that was a joke when they did that.
Sir, why don't you stand by the table there? The mics will
Here, let
pick
him
you up.
Okay. This is Panchek's deck. This is his. Because they would be on that side of the fence and they would only be 3 or 4 feet high, it's a 6-foot fence. So you can't put buffering along the other side of the property.
They'd have to put arborvitae's in there about 16, 18 foot high.
Not that big. Those are huge. Not in the decision. Yeah. I don't have the minutes.
You want the minutes?
No, I haven't read them yet.
That's not the picture.
That's from his side of the fence.
You see, there's one of the trees right here.
Right.
The reason it's been reopened is
1, 2,
because
3, 4, there's the fence.
Andreas
I
is
know.
saying he wants, he's his daughter. I don't know if you got a copy. Because he's not sure how to interpret this from us as we granted it. And he's not giving them a CO because of that.
I would not be wasting the board's time if I thought my privacy. I already lost it for my den and the upstairs of my home. Now I'm gonna lose it for the backyard and my deck. I just don't think it's right.
Oh, so is the deck over here? Yeah. This is his deck. How high?
However high is needed to screen, and that's what the conditions are, screening.
Okay.
They were agreed to last time.
I'm just saying that that's,
Well, we reopened it because people weren't happy the way it was written. So it's up to
what do you
the
guys?
rest of the board and myself to determine what's appropriate screening. Here's your phone, Mr. Fowler.
Thank you.
What would you suggest?
Go back to the mic.
To be honest with you, gentlemen, I'm not even sure why I'm here. I thought after the last hearing where they got everything they asked for, the only thing that was granted to me was the privacy of my deck and my backyard. They still got their deck, they still got everything they wanted. And now, and it was one of the conditions, it was explained to me at length last time, because they got everything else, that this was something I should calm down about, because I'll have my privacy in the backyard of my deck. And they want me to lose that, and they put up those 3 little plants. If they were in the ground, they'd only be about, they wouldn't even be 3 foot big.
All right, guys.
So,
They should be required to do what they said. These are the minutes.
We have the minutes, but I want to resolve it tonight if we can.
It says here, Patricia Pancheck was sworn and stated, I would like some type, there's a tree or two, there's a couple of trees there, so I will put anything up. If you want arborvitae's up, I can put arborvitae's up. I really don't see the problem, but because, except for the deck, I didn't ask them to put down the whole road to the main street. I know they cost money. They know they cost money. It's not an incredible amount of money compared to what they've spent on the house. And it's incredible to me that you have given them every,
Okay, we understand. Thank you. Let's figure it out.
So, Panchecks, what are you willing to do to create screening?
I will put arborvitae's,
Come on up to the mic.
I will put arborvitae's up, but I never said I would put 16 or 18 foot arborvitae's.
Pull it down.
Pull it down, please.
There you go.
I will put arborvitae's or some type of evergreen up, fast-growing arborvitae's. But I'm not
So
paying,
you
I'm
can't,
not,
you can't provide screening now, that's what you're saying. There's people thinking that it should be above the 6-foot fence and then cover the fences, cover the deck as well.
right. But that's not what I agreed to. I said I would put them up, and they are fast-growing, so in a couple of years, they will be up there.
So what size would you put in?
I don't know what size would I put in. Okay.
So the deck is probably, what, 10 foot out? 14
14.
out? So you have to put up maybe 4 arborvitae's. That'll block and screen from his view and your view of his.
Okay,
So that has to be achieved somehow.
right.
I don't know if anybody wants to decide, do you want to try to require 18-foot arborvitae's that are, $500,
18 foot,
$600
I
a
think.
piece?
18 foot are unreasonable. I don't know, 5 foot. And let them grow. Because again, they're on an angle too.
I know they're on an angle.
What about the screen that you mentioned first, the lattice work, like, have a vine?
Put it out there.
Excuse me?
How about a screening, how about some form of screening?
Like a lattice work, they have those diamond shaped, you can have something grown on there that would block everything.
where are you gonna put that?
On the deck.
On the
On the deck?
14-foot deck,
Yeah, on the edge of the deck.
outside the rails. Put something up like 6 foot and then put, grow ivy on it, I don't know. Something.
Okay,
Is that yes and no? I don't know.
you gotta get up to the microphone if you're gonna speak. And raise your right hand, you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Name and address.
Bob Panchak, 8 Pheasant Court, Riverhead.
Go ahead.
The house that we rebuilt was built in 1953. It's in Reeves Park. Reeves Park, all the lots are 50 by 100, 70 by 75 by 100. They're all close together. The man buys the house next door, they're 40, 50 feet apart. Now all of a sudden, he has to have privacy. He's lived there, I don't know how long he's lived there. Pat's aunt lived there since 1953. Never had a problem with the guy next door with his privacy.
Okay.
Now he wants privacy, and I gotta supply it to him.
All right, we're gonna put either some kind of trees there or a lattice. Your choice, but it's gotta be at least 5 foot.
Okay, we'll plant 5-foot trees.
And
The
how
tr-
many?
Excuse me. The 3 trees that we put there were put there because we were getting a final inspection, and in our thing, we had to plant arborvitae's, but you can't plant trees in December, because it's out of season, and they're not gonna grow, and they're gonna die. So we put them up there because we had to plant arborvitae's, but it wasn't in season.
Figure out something, but it's gotta be 5 foot.
Okay, 5 foot's fine.
Either the trees or the lattice.
And let's put the number 4. Someone said 4.
For what?
Trees.
4 trees.
I would think if they're sizable enough, 4 would do it.
5 foot is good?
Fence is 6 foot, right?
Since the fence is 6 foot, so you won't have any screening for a couple of years.
Yeah, the fence doesn't do
I mean,
anything.
we'll buy the
If you-
fast growing ones, which do grow fast.
Um,
Might as well hear from him again.
Trying to think which one's the last.
What?
Mr. Valley?
All I have to say, if they're able to just put in 5 or 6 foot arborvitaes,
Okay.
I will be dead before they grow big enough to provide any privacy to my house. And I don't think that is fair. They've gotten everything they've asked for, and
You
this is
said
the
that
one,
before. Let me ask you, what do you suggest?
what you said with lattice work, and they put some kind of vine on it or something, it's good to me. I just want them not to be able to stand up there, have a party, and look down at me when me and my family are eating dinner.
All right, let's make a decision here, guys.
I mean, the arborvitaes that Mr. Whitmire brought up last time, because they raised the house so high, they raised the height of the arborvitaes that they'll need. Because they're supposed to go planted in the ground and go 6 foot above the deck floor. That was the agreement. I thought it was a done deal.
How do you plant those things on a deck?
No, you plant them in the ground.
Ground.
How many years? You're right. It's gonna take 100 years for those things to grow. No. No.
Well, that's why we leave you open to hear this case.
Yeah.
So
To
the
straighten
building
it out
inspector,
that everybody has some degree of happiness.
We'll put I'm up for a lattice or something up on the deck, but that's
that's what the building inspector's recommending in his
Right.
letter. He said to build a lattice wall or a privacy wall on the deck itself. So you would have to probably build something 6 foot
I would say 6 foot. Let's
high
make it
and
6 foot.
14 feet out. You know, lattice. They do make this ivy that retracts and you
In
can
fact,
hang it on there.
there's the
Really
fall
is
on
very
Sound
nice.
Avenue. Those folks do that stuff. They make signs out of walls. What was the name of that company out in, over there before us? They make the signs out of flowers.
Oh, yeah,
Are they
no, I
gone?
don't know that.
Well, so much for that. Okay, so we want a 6 foot lattice. Yeah, I mean, that's what we want. Okay.
Can you do the lattice?
No.
We don't have a choice. We, maybe price out 18 to 20 foot arborvitaes and see what they will cost. Lattice is not that expensive.
Plus, it could be very decorative, if you put something to grow on.
Yeah. Let's go for a 6 foot lattice. We'll take it from there.
Mr.
14
Valley,
out.
are you happy with that?
It's the next best thing.
It's the only next
Thank you.
thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
One other question. Are you supposed to be living there without a CO?
You can occupy the building.
What?
You can occupy the building 30 days prior to the issuance of the CO and making an application for a CO. There's a section in
Well,
the
it's
code.
been longer than that the house is occupied.
So you're not happy at all, are you? That they built this house and then whether they're
They
in
got
there or
everything
not-
they want.
So let's say they got, so
And the
what do you
one
want
thing
from
I
them?
got, you take
What do
away.
you want from them?
I want
What else
them to
do you
do
want
the
then?
one thing they
They're
agreed to.
gonna. That's what we decided to do.
But it was the arborvitae's. But what you just did is the second best. What can I
Okay.
do?
All right.
So are you happy with second
We made a
best or
decision.
not?
Let's have a reading.
All right, Mr. Chairman, respectfully move the appeal of Patricia Panchek, 70 Park Road, Riverhead, SCTM number 600-16-3-5, RA 440 zoning, reopened by the board on January 26, 2023 for variance and/or relief from Chapter 3001, Section 11. Where proposed impervious surface coverage is 44.5% and maximum permit is 15%. Project reduces current impervious surface, which is presently 49.1%, close paren. Where proposed side yard setback is 7.5 feet to dwelling and 6.8 feet to the proposed deck, and minimum required is 25 feet for principal structures and 20 feet for accessory structures, where proposed front yard is 19.6 feet to the roofed over unenclosed porch and 22.9 feet to the dwelling, and minimum required is 50 feet, where proposed rear yard setback is 29.5 feet and minimum required is 60 feet, and where proposed detached garage is 5 feet from the rear yard and side property lines, and minimum required is 20 feet, be approved as amended with the following condition: that there be at least 6 feet of lattice or privacy wall on the deck,
14 feet out.
14 feet out, in accordance with the applications and sketches and amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Mr. Whitmire.
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo.
Aye.
Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
The lattice is a 3-foot railing.
Handrail.
So the lattice has to be 3 foot higher, or the lattice has to be
Has to
6
be
feet?
6 foot.
Must be 6
6
feet
foot.
altogether.
From the top of the deck surface, 6 foot up.
Okay.
14 feet out.
The drainage is something he had mentioned in his letter. Andreas.
That's not covered by us.
There is a section in the town code that is required that you maintain your runoff. So we don't have to do,
You don't have to do that.
we don't have to do that. If you don't provide that, then the code enforcement can write you for that.
Oh, it's fine.
And give you a
We did
summons.
it. We more than did this.
I'm quite sure you have your gutters up yet?
Yes.
Okay, so is there a lot of water runoff
And
going?
they go into dry wells.
Okay, good.
Part of the problem is that
No.
You gotta go to the mic.
Bob. Good night, Bob.
Good night.
Take your jacket.
You all have a good night, and I hope everything turns out well.
Good night, thank you.
Good night,
Good
Bob.
night, Bob.
Good night, Mr. Valley.
Onward and upward.
Appeal 2022-044, Sheila Taylor Reeves, 182 Linda Avenue, Aquabog, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-85-02-31, RA40 zoning, for variances and or relief from Chapter 301-9A1C. Rear yard setback is 9.5 feet, minimum required is 20 feet, side yard setback is 8.3 feet, minimum required is 20 feet.
Who's up on this one?
Anybody here?
Anyone here? Ah,
She's up.
there we go. And if you kindly raise your right hand, you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and your address and pull that microphone down. Right, there
Sheila
you go.
Taylor Reeves, 182 Linda Avenue, Riverhead, New York.
Excuse me. Leroy, that lady looks familiar.
I've never seen it before.
I'm red, I can feel it.
Go ahead.
My boys let me measure, and I measured wrong when we put the garage up. So we're 17 inches off the 10 feet mark.
So let me get this straight. You built the metal building with a building permit, correct? And then when they did the final survey, they came back and they said it's off 17 inches from the zoning code. So
From the
you
10
want to
feet.
be able to maintain the structure and leave it where it is without us making you tear it down and moving it.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll think about it.
You bring any chocolate chip cookies or anything?
So anyway,
Just asking.
Next time. Oh, no, 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 no. No next time.
Okay.
so is there anybody else that wants to be heard? I don't think
Yeah, let's
she has
see.
to.
Anyone else wants to be heard on this matter?
Is there somebody online that wants to talk?
Raise your hand. No, I guess-
You want to be heard on this matter? I guess not. Okay.
Do any of them look like your neighbors?
They all signed, they all knew.
No, I just, they look like your neighbors,
Oh, I didn't even see.
the Zoomers.
Let's have a reading.
Who's got?
I have. Are we done with the audience? I mean, is anyone out there?
Nobody's leaping to their feet, so let's go for it.
All right, I move that the appeal appeal of Sheila Taylor Reeves, 182 Linda Avenue, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-85-2-31, RA-40 zoning for variance and/or relief from Town Code Chapter 301-9A, 1C, where rear yard setback is 9.5 feet and minimum required is 20 feet, and side yard setback is 8.3 feet, minimum required is 20 feet, be granted in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo?
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So your appeal has been granted, and best of luck with those.
How come he gets to read the small?
That's it?
I gotta read more.
That's it, you're done. Now you can go for your CO.
You're more educated.
Ed, you get the small ones, I gotta read
No.
more.
You got the
of these.
college degrees.
No,
I get
did
three
you
of them.
provide a survey already to the building department? So once they get
Oh,
a
yeah.
copy of our appeal that we granted it,
Yeah, my leg.
they'll release the CO to you. Usually takes a week or two.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
But I would stop by and say, can I have my CO?
Okay.
And they'll tell you. It'll take them a little time to put it together. But you
Forget
can
about the
always
guy
call
signing it.
I call Sue Edwards. Somebody.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night. Thank you for
Have a
coming.
nice evening, thank you.
Off you go.
Okay, Appeal 2023-006, Diana and Jeff Thurston, 1400 Peconic Bay Boulevard, Jamesport, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-70-2-42.2, RB40 zoning, for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301-17, where proposed side yard is 2 feet when minimum 25 feet required, and Chapter 301-17, where proposed combined side yard is 29.4 feet when minimum 55 feet required. Adjourned from February 9th.
We just sworn you in before?
Of course. Last week, 2 weeks ago.
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
State your name and your address.
Anthony Portillo, 10200 Main Road, Mattatuck, New York.
You have the floor.
Thank you, sir. We're proposing a 3-car garage. The main difficulty with this lot, which is common in this neighborhood, I actually want to present something to the board here, but is that we are on a really long, narrow lot. There is a current residence on the lot, and they're looking to build a garage to house cars. And on the second floor, we're currently calling it storage. There could be, after the garage is built, there could be an application 3 years later down the road, possibly to put in some type of accessory space. Part of the code, we have
That's
to,
to accommodate the balcony, correct?
it's the idea of the balcony.
Okay.
Also, there's
don't
a,
need a balcony
you know, the
for
idea is a
storage, but that's
view.
all right.
There's a view there, so if you didn't want to go up there and have a glass of wine or scotch and a cigar. There is an intent from the owners to renovate the existing house eventually, so, I mean, they do kind of think that this garage would store a lot of the stuff in the house during the renovation, and then, so there is future plans, obviously, but first is getting the garage. Again, going back to the common layout of that area, I'm just gonna present 5 different addresses that you can see accessory buildings that are basically on the lot line or a foot or so off the lot line. I didn't find any variances on them, and my reasoning behind that is I think they were probably built before those requirements, and I think just, if you look at the lot, you know, you kind of have to have the garage off to the side to allow cars to enter, to even pull into the garage. So I think we laid it out properly. Also, if you look at my survey, you can see the neighboring house pretty much is on the lot line. The neighboring accessory building is about a foot off the lot line, or about half a foot. So, can I bring this up?
Sure.
Thank you. There's 4 copies here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, it's not stipulated exactly how close these accessory buildings are, but I think it's pretty obvious that they're basically on the lot lines are pretty much as close as what we're proposing. There's also one that I'd like to mention, which is 1381 Peconic Bay Boulevard. It looks to be a very large accessory structure, pretty much on the lot line there as well. So I thought that was interesting. It's definitely larger than what we're proposing. I was able to find a relief at, there was a relief at 24 Marine Street, which is close by, and they proposed similar 5-foot setback off of their side lot line, which was approved by the board in December 15th, 2022. I have that ZBA number if you like me to read it into the record.
I don't think you need to.
Okay.
I think we're well aware of what's going on in Jamesport and most other parts of the town with 2- and 3-car garages, that for the future will be habitable space over the garage for accessory apartments. We've talked about it at great length. The town board needs to either adopt a code that deals with this specifically instead of going around and trying to say it's one thing when it's really not one thing. It's going to be another thing. So let's be right up front about it. It's going to be an accessory apartment above the 3-car garage,
And
which is acceptable as the way the code is written right now.
correct.
Nobody likes it, the town board needs to change it. Simple as that.
I'm actually for that. I would say that, you know, a lot of other towns I deal with, it seems like they sort of do it up front and they say, well, let's approve it while we're approving the building.
Right.
Not necessarily that you can build it right away.
I'm not sure about Southold.
I think Southledge is a year if you don't have an existing.
They make it a very complicated process.
It is, but you do have to go to ZBA to get the approval.
Yes, I know.
Either way, my clients are aware. They're here tonight. They can attest to the fact that they're not going to build something without a permit. They're not looking to do that. That's why they're here presenting this building,
Right.
and might be back here to do the renovations on the home if we decide we need to do some kind of addition. And, you know, the home itself is already pretty much existing, non-complying to current zoning
Most
codes.
things in Jamesport are non-conforming,
Sure,
pre-existing.
sure.
So I don't think any of the neighbors have any problem. In fact, somebody sent a letter of support, one of the neighbors. And I don't know who it is, but I have the letter and everybody else got a copy of the letter,
Yeah.
so I don't think anybody really has a problem unless someone else is here to speak about it or
Anyone in
wants
the
to be
audience?
heard about it.
Anyone on Zoom about this matter?
Yes, I have a problem with that.
Hello, you're,
Yes, I have a problem with that.
all right, let me swear you in.
I
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I swear to God.
Okay, state your name and your address.
My name is Janet Kohler. My address is 1392 Peconic Bay Boulevard.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that this garage that they're purporting to do is too big for the area. I feel like my family has been there for 100 years. I know that you don't care about that, but the garage with the balcony is going to be used for people staying there. It's obvious. The garage is 3 times as big as the house that is there.
So isn't there a house on Phyllis Lane?
Nope, I'm not on Phyllis Lane.
No, not
No,
your
I
house.
didn't say that.
Okay.
I said that, you know, when you come into the entrance to their property, the Thurston's property,
Yes.
one of the things you see first off is a 3-car garage with it looks like an apartment above it. Do you know anything about that?
That has never, it should not have been approved.
So it got approved.
Yeah, I guess it has, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to preserve the country aspect of the North Fork. That's it.
So these people right now, as it's presented, is looking to propose a three-car garage,
Yes, I know that.
and you're opposed to that.
Yes.
And what would you like to see?
Something smaller.
Did you come and look at the plans?
Yes, I've seen the plans.
So you came to the building department and looked at the proposed plans for the garage?
Yes, I'm like 200 feet away from what they're doing.
Okay.
I have seen everything that's submitted. I have followed the whole thing.
So you followed the whole thing, and you're
Yes.
opposed to it?
Opposed, totally. Just trying to promote the North Fork country, small. You don't need a garage that's bigger than your house. That's my whole thing.
Excuse me,
Okay.
hold on a minute. You keep talking about the garage being larger than the house. It says the proposed detached garage is 794 square feet. The
Yeah.
existing main dwelling is 1,546 square feet, so it's half the size of the house. It's not
But
bigger than
the
the house.
upstairs, they're trying to make, with the balcony, it's going to be housing. I know that.
I couldn't hear what she said.
She knows it's gonna be housing. We know it's gonna be housing. He's
Well-
already anticipated that.
Just
you
so
know
you
that.
know,
You know that.
we know that down the road,
You know that too.
they'll be eligible for an accessory apartment permit. If that's the case, it has to be owner occupied, the house. So most likely, in most of the cases along the boulevard in Jamesport, Laurel, most people that have the 2 or 3 car garage with a loft above normally just use it for their family. I'm not sure if this is their case or not, what they're gonna do with this. But this is down the road.
3 years.
So
At least.
it takes 3 years to apply for an accessory apartment. And building is, excuse me? Right. And it has, it has a maximum square footage. I think it's 900 square feet or 650.
Something like that.
I think it's maybe 650. I'm not sure. She's gonna tell me.
Preserve.
So,
I'm just trying to preserve the North Fork story.
and
That's it.
you live off the boulevard at 1392?
On the waterfront, I'm for 100 years.
So you're on the water itself?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And are you to the east or to the west?
I am to the west.
Okay.
I'm 200 feet away from the garage that they're going to build.
Yeah, I see her.
I mean, if we keep doing this, then the North Fork is not going to be
So they're
attractive.
gonna be right here. I see.
Sure.
So do you have an accessory building behind you?
Yes,
Is that a garage?
yes,
It's not a cottage, it's just a garage?
no, no.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Minimum 300, maximum.
It was built in 1920, my house, so.
So the maximum the accessory apartment could be is 650. So you're talking, one bath, maybe a small kitchenette, and most likely be used for family. So, it's just a guess, I'm not sure. But there's certain qualifying things that have to be done prior to the issuance of an accessory apartment. So at this juncture, I want to make sure that you know that you're comparing the garage to the house. The house is probably double the size, and you understand that, right?
Their garage is double the size of their house.
No,
No,
what
the
I'm trying to
house,
say is the house is like 1,500 square feet, and this is 700 or 800 square feet, just round numbers.
794.
So it's not twice the size of the house, it's half the size of the house, or less.
Really? I disagree with that.
You disagree. So
Yeah.
when you went to the building department and looked at the file, is the square footage different than what you're saying it is?
I can see with my own eyes that's bigger than the house.
Well, we're looking at the survey tonight with our own eyes right now, and those are the numbers. Did you look at the architecture of the proposed garage at all? Is it
Yes.
this, Jenny?
Yes,
Did you look at the architecture?
yes. Why do they need a balcony in a garage?
Well, we made mention to that, because they do plan on eventually putting in for an accessory apartment. The code allows an accessory apartment, okay, after a 3-year existence of the current building that they're gonna build.
Okay, yeah.
So, they can do it now, or they can leave it off and then build it when they do the apartment.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, we know what it's going to be. Okay, we know what it's going to be.
Okay,
The town board should really address this and amend the code to either prohibit them or to allow them and not have to come to the zoning board to make these decisions. It should be clear in the statute,
Amen.
okay?
all right, so you made up your mind, good.
Well, if I could just make 3
I
points.
didn't say we made up our mind yet, but we're considering it. So, I think what we're gonna do is see what the property owners may wanna say. Would you object to that?
No,
Okay. Can you bring up your clients?
Sure, could I make 3 points real quick? I just want to
Sure,
talk about
please.
what I'm here for the variance for. So the structure itself actually isn't in question, the size of it, it's allowed. The heights are fine, I don't have a lot coverage issue. Just want to make, I know you're aware, but for the record, we're really just here because we're talking about that side yard. We'll never meet the 55-foot combined side yards on anything on that lot because of the width of
Well,
the lot.
then
so-
it does.
So really, it's where we're placing it on the lot, I think is what's in question tonight.
Well,
Just wanted to,
strategically, it's in the correct place.
I think so, to come around and,
Because down the road, if you have to put any kind of septic systems in, or, they may have to be relocated, and you have to have a right-of-way through. So it only makes sense where you're located.
sure,
But she's representing that it's twice the size of the house.
which is not. It might
So-
feel that
so
way
you
because it's
as
like
an
a narrow
architect,
structure.
Can you make it part of the record what the actual sizes are?
Sure,
Tell
so,
us what they are?
so the footprint of the garage is 794 square feet, and the footprint of the existing dwelling is 1,546 square feet.
Okay.
So footprint-wise, it's about half.
Footprint-wise, it's about half.
Correct.
Okay, so I just want to.
And one thing on the architecture I think is important to note is we did bring the roof down and then do dormers so that it doesn't feel so tall.
It
you
looks
know.
more attractive.
Right, and I think it does fit actually into the North Fork architecture, shingle-style home or accessory building in my
Does
opinion.
your client mind coming up?
No, not at all. I mean, they're gonna attest to the fact that I've explained to them that in 3 years, they have the ability to come back and
I'm
make it
quite
into.
sure that's what they have intended to, and that's what they have in mind.
Sure.
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Kindly state your name and your address.
Jeff Thurston, 1400 Peconic Bay Boulevard, Town of Riverhead, Jamesport.
Go ahead, you got the mic. Just
Yeah.
explain what you're looking to do.
Okay, no, we're looking to build this 3-car garage so we can renovate the house. Also, we have 3 vehicles now, we want to put them in the garage. Eventually, we're talking a couple of years down the road, we'll possibly talk about moving out here. And then I need a lot of storage, which I will need now if I renovate, to put up there, and I'll need it again when I do move out. My intentions are not now to build, I'm definitely not an apartment. It was never an intention to build an apartment with a kitchen or all that stuff, none of that, none of that.
So why do you have a balcony?
Well, because, like Anthony said, if we go up, just sit there one day, we could look out. And, that was it. But I mean, if it's a problem with that,
So, no, but do you have an intention to put an accessory apartment in down the road?
not an
Do
accessory
you
apartment.
intend to?
No. Right now, be honest with you, right now, no. I don't know what I'm gonna do 5 years from now, but right now, over the next couple of years, no. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how much, I'm getting older now. I don't know what I'm gonna do 5 years from now, but right now, no.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and as my architect has been telling me that if I wanted to do that, put an apartment in, I'd have to come in and, submit plans and everything else to do that.
Oh, yeah, there would be a
Permits. Yeah,
representation.
absolutely.
So is it, Jan,
Jenny?
are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so what do you think of that?
It was a little bit vague, so,
So, okay,
I don't-
but I know that you presented to us that it's overbearing and it's a big building, and it really isn't.
it's not a big building.
So, and it's not the only garage that's gonna be in that area. There's plenty of garages that are three-car with accessory apartments above them. It's not an uncommon thing. So, if you feel uncomfortable with it, we know what you're saying to us, but I don't think it would be fair not to grant it to him, to be honest.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Let's have a reading. Anyone else be heard on this matter? Let's have a reading.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I respectfully present Appeal 2306 for Dana and Jeff Thurston, 1400 Peconic Bay Boulevard, Jamesport, tax map number 600-70-2-42.2. It's located in the RB40 zoning for variances and relief from Chapter 301-17, where the proposed side yard is 2 feet, when minimum is 25 feet required, and Chapter 301-17, where the proposed combined side yard of 29.4 feet, the minimum is 55 feet be required, be approved, in accordance with the applications, and any amendments to file with the building inspector.
Second?
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So the appeal's been granted. Best of luck with everything.
Good luck.
And I hope everybody stays happy.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Jenny.
Off you go.
If you need to know where the sign goes next time, give me a call. Yeah, I know, somebody else did it.
That was like a treasure hunt.
Oh, my God.
Go ahead. It's okay. Do your reading.
Fine, we've got that for you. Appeal 2023-007, Christine Albinski, 56 Hill Street East, Wading River, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-33-05-08, RB80 zoning, for variances and or relief from Chapter 301-31, where proposed front yard setback 31.7 feet, minimum required 60 feet, Chapter 301-222.1B1, where proposed combined side yard setback is 22 feet, minimum required 24 feet, and Chapter 301-222.1B4, where proposed impervious surface coverage is 23%, maximum required is 20%.
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and your address.
Good evening. My name is Cole Gartmare, representing HLS Expediting, located at 180 Gloria Boulevard, Hauppauge, New York, 11788. We're agents representing Christine Albinski, owner of 56 Hill Street East, Wading River, New York, 11792, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 300-33-5-8. This property is in an RB-80 zone. An application was filed for a proposed single-family dwelling with attached two-car garage and rear deck. We're proposing a front yard setback of 31.7 feet where 60 feet is required. We're proposing a combined side yard setback of 22 feet where 24 feet is required. And we're proposing 23% impervious surface where 20% is the maximum allowed. This property is only 60 by 100 square feet, or 60 by 100. So realistically, anywhere they try to put a dwelling on this parcel, they are not going to be able to meet that front yard setback of 60 feet and meet any other setbacks, if they could even fit a dwelling on there and meet that setback. So we feel that just based on the character of the neighborhood, that compromising the front yard setback was the best course of action. This way, there's still a little bit of a rear yard to play, entertain, have things like that. The owners of the property have owned this parcel for some time. They lived in the area of Wading River for many, many years. They finally decided that they would like to try to improve the neighborhood and turn this barren parcel into, you know, a nice, beautiful residence. I do have some aerial photos of the block. I highlighted the subject parcel in with a red border, and then that way you could just kind of see it's definitely within the character of the neighborhood to not be 60 feet from that front yard. May I approach?
You may approach.
This is one for each sheet. Thank you.
Yes, uniform with the Holston Landing is strange. There.
As you can see, the only parcels that really do maintain a significant front yard setback are ones that actually maintain a larger parcel itself, whereas it is kind of like a good mix of the smaller parcels where it's kind of cut in half to this 60 by 100 parcel size.
Yep. Strange neighborhood, whatever. Anyone else to be heard on this matter? Anybody on Zoom? All right. Anybody else be heard on this matter? Anybody got any problems? No. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, regarding appeal number 2023-007, I move that the appeal of Christine Albinsky, 56 Hill Street, East Wading River, SCTM number 600-33-5-8, RB80 zoning for variance and/or relief from Town Code Chapter 301-31, where proposed front yard setback is 31.7 feet, minimum required is 60 feet, Chapter 301-222.1, Subdivision B, Subdivision 1, where proposed combined side yard setback is 22 feet, minimum required is 24 feet, Chapter 301-222.1B, 4, where proposed impervious surface coverage is 23%, maximum required is 20%, be approved in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo?
Aye.
Mr. Bonds?
Aye.
I vote aye. So the appeal's been granted, and approximately 2 weeks you'll get your paperwork.
Thank you very much.
Take it from
Have a
there.
good evening.
You too.
Okay, Appeal 2023-008, Clifford Steinkamp, 556 Sound Shore Road, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-7-1-27.2, RA40 zoning, for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301-9A2, where proposed front fence is 5 feet and gate is 6 feet, maximum height allowed is 4 feet.
If you kindly raise your right hand, you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and your address.
Clifford Steinkamp, 556 Sound Shore Road, Riverhead.
You have the floor.
Well, I'm looking somewhat to replace what was there before I bought the property and had run down a little bit. We've had a couple of recent incidents up there in Sound Shore Road where individuals have walked onto the property, one of which was a gentleman that went through the cars. And I feel that the first attempt was just to really put up a gate, because the fence that's been there since I purchased it was 5 feet. That's when I found out 5 feet was not permissible or was not part of the code. So in my trying to put up a fence, and I don't know if, again, I had thrown a photo in there, it's basically a metal fence whereby which it's also 5 feet on the outside edges, but with a slight raise into the center area of 6 feet. I'm hoping it's just enough to discourage that sort of thing. I've had, again, the event that kind of pushed me forward was 3 hunters just decided they were going to go roaming the property looking for deer. So I'm kind of saying I've got to do something.
So can I get this straight?
Shoot.
If I come up to the 2 pillars,
Yes.
Is there a 5-foot fence along them again? I can't remember.
There is, but it's about 6 feet from those, because when I did the pillars, when I first bought the property, there was a wooden fence there, and I think the original survey showed that prior to my buying it, and that it was a chain link, if you saw that, and that did go right up to a set of wooden posts in the ground. Well, when I did the pillars, I pulled those away. I would say if you look back to the east, you'll see that 10, maybe 15 feet away is the chain link, 5 feet still there, untouched. And to the other side, just behind the, maybe about another 10 feet or so, there's another chain link, 5 foot.
End of the day, you're gonna build your gate, go in the entrance, 5 foot on each side? all the
Yes,
way
that's my intent,
across.
yeah.
Are you replacing all the fencing down the side of the property?
Well, your office kind of encouraged me to say, once you jump in, jump in. My preference would be to do that, and at least do the metal to the point of going down. I've spoken to both neighbors to do with that, and both of them seem to be very much on board to do it. I'm hoping to do it, but the deal is I got to somehow protect a little bit. If you'd seen the property, that chain link is kind of, I can hear the deer laughing at night as they go past or over it. So I'm thinking I might want to take that on. I'm finding 8's probably going to still be a joke to those boys, but my hope is to try to bring that back. And again, the type of fence I'm trying to put up is not one that I'm hoping doesn't take away from the appearance of the area. Yeah, and again, as you may know, I purchased the property in 16, and I put a lot of effort into making it aesthetic to the
It
neighborhood.
shows.
Thank you.
Looks nice,
Thank you, gentlemen.
but whatever.
Anybody else to be heard on this matter? Step up. Kindly raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and your address.
My name is Tony Russo. I live at 18 River Avenue, but I'm here representing my father, who's Cliff's neighbor at 564 Sound Shore. He just couldn't be here this evening. He just wanted to let me know that, or let the board know, he's on board, 100%, ready to go. And the only issue is the deer will probably be on my dad's property rather than his. But
That's no fun.
They'll make
No
that 5
opposition,
foot.
no screaming, yelling, it's
They'll
No,
make that 5
no.
foot fence, no
Unbelievable.
worries.
some of the
Thank
stuff
you.
we have to put up with here. Okay, thank you. Who's got the reading?
How about the screen?
He owns the fence company, huh?
All right, Mr. Chairman, you've done your appeal.
Anyone on the TV, Zoom, have any problems with this?
Okay, we're gonna read a
There being none.
resolution.
There being none, Mr. Chairman, appeal number 2023-008. I move that appeal of Clifford Steinking, 556 Sound Shore Road, Riverheads, SCTM number 600-7.1-27.2, RA4 zoning for variance and/or relief from Town Code Chapter 301-9A, Subdivision 2, where proposed front fence is 5 feet and gate is 6 feet. Maximum height allowed is 4 feet. Be approved in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, is filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo?
Aye.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so your appeal has been granted. And best of luck and
Good luck.
I want to make sure in your question, and I'm not reopening, was there an issue to do with me pursuing that 5-foot metal, replacing the chain link going back towards the house? Not at
Not
all.
an issue with us.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good while you're ahead.
That's why I didn't want to
Just keep in mind that anything front of the house has to be 4 foot high.
Well, that's why I said.
Did you make it clear in the application that you're gonna do both sides?
5 foot,
I think I pretty much said the whole thing was 5 foot.
5 foot.
Right? That's what you're reading.
Is that what you said in the application?
Yeah,
Then
5
we're
foot.
good.
okay. Just wanted,
Have a nice night.
thank you, gentlemen.
Take care.
Have a good night.
You too.
Off you go.
Okay, and we're gonna switch the last two.
Yeah, switch last.
So, okay, so Appeal 2023-011, William Ferrani, 63 Farm Road West, Wading River, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-57-01-14.3, RB 80 zoning, for variances and a relief from Chapter 301-29 1C, where proposed side setback 10 feet, minimum 25 feet required.
And if you kindly raise your right hand, as you've seen everyone else do tonight, you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Kindly state your name and your address.
William Ferrani, 63 Farm Road West in Wing River. And as my application says, I'd like to build a two-car garage, detached garage, 22 feet wide by 24 foot deep. Right now, between the house and the side of the property line is 50 feet. If I take the 25 from the side and 10 from the house, I only have 15 feet to work with. So I'd like to go to 10 feet at the closest to the left side of the property line, maybe 10, maybe 11, depending on what lines up. You see the survey there, it might have an L-shaped garage, L-shaped driveway that goes into the two-car garage I already have. So I'd like to just be able to continue straight ahead, whatever lines up as to the driveway for an additional two-car garage. I have 2 children, they also have cars. I have copies of 4 titles to 4 cars that they park right behind my wife and I's cars in the garage, and we're constantly playing moving cars to get in and out. And when they move out, you know, my dream ultimately is to get a classic car to put them in the garage.
That's a dream.
It's a dream. But, so that's why I also have pictures, if you would like, of 3 houses also on Farm Road West that have detached garages.
We actually saw them when we were doing the field work.
Yep. Okay, so, you know, my architect drew a garage that was...
You don't want to go for a three-car garage?
No, and also...
2, you happy with 2?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I have no intention of putting in a living space above that or anything like that.
Well, that's good to know.
Well, you're gonna provide power to that?
Yes.
You're gonna run a sub-panel from the house?
Yes.
You're not gonna get a separate meter?
No.
Okay.
I talked to Frank Bond, he's already on board with that.
No, that's fine.
And I think that's it. I also have a dream of putting solar panels on that to power my Teslas.
One step at a time.
Exactly.
Anyone else to be heard on this matter?
I'd keep it outside if I was...
Zoom, you got anything, Zoom? Let's have a motion, a reading.
Okay, well, Mr. Chairman, I move that the appeal 2311, which is William Karani, 63 Farm Road West, Wading River, tax map number 600-57-1-14.3, located in the RB 80 zoning for variances and relief from the Town Code Chapter 301, 1C, where the proposed side setback is 10 feet, the minimum required is 25 feet. Be approved in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Mr. Bonds?
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo?
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
I vote aye. So your appeal's been granted. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Good luck on your
So I
classic
get
car.
a variance approval letter and then I have to reapply for the building permit again? Is that how it works?
No, you filed for the building permit, they denied you because it didn't meet the side yard. So now, we'll send over our determination to the building department, they'll have it, and they'll release your permit. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Off you go.
On your anniversary night.
What do you got, an itch?
sure. No, cramp.
Cramps?
Cramp in my pinky.
Oh,
All right, we're good.
Take your time. You all right?
Yeah, yeah.
just that type. Blah, 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 blah.
Easy
You
on the
can see
pinky.
it.
Just won't get that half of the word.
Yeah, pinky swear, pinky swear.
Okay, Appeal 2023-009, Inshore Construction Company Incorporated, 61 Main Road, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-85-01-8.1, CRC zoning, for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301-80A, where proposed building lot coverage is 24.88%, maximum allowed is 20%. Chapter 301-80A, where proposed floor area ratio is 0.4986, maximum allowed is 0.20. Chapter 301-80A, where proposed lot width is 157.35 feet, minimum permitted is 200 feet. And Chapter 301-79, self-storage facility is not a permitted use within CRC zoning.
Counselor, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Kimberly Judd, 737 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York. I also have with me Richard Bono. He is the agent for the property owner Inshore Construction. Should we wait for Mr. Whitmire to come back?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll continue then.
I'll update him later.
Okay, so the property, I'm sure the board members are familiar with if you drive past it. It contains 145,694 square feet or 3.3 acres. It's located in the commercial residential campus zoning district and which has a minimum lot area of 40,000 square feet, and thus this lot being 3.3 acres is greatly oversized for the zoning district. There are several letters of pre-existing use and certificates of occupancy on the property. I think a lot of the board members are familiar that this was part of a duck farm many years ago, as was the subdivision to the south of the property. And there is a concrete building which is about less than 30 feet from the front yard of the property that is there. The applicant and the owner currently uses that building for storage for the construction business and landscaping business, I should say, I'm sorry. And there are LPUs for 4 cottages, but if you did your inspection, you'll notice that 2 of them have been demolished pursuant to demolition permits, and there are 2 that are still standing. The owner of the property is Inshore Construction, and they've owned this property since 1986, so a period of approximately 36 years. Mr. Bono came in to see me a few months ago about this property, and believe it or not, the plans that he had for the property were not for what we're proposing tonight, but for garden apartments or townhouses. He presented a concept plan to me, realizing that they were going to have to build sewer treatment and possibly TDRs. I had a frank conversation with them. I said, listen, I don't think this is an appropriate project, even though it's permitted. What he was proposing as far as the townhouses is permitted in the CRC zoning district. I said, I don't think it's appropriate use because of the traffic issue. As the board members know, in the past 10 years, traffic has been very heavy in the summer, fall, and winter, heading east, and any type of intensive residential use would make it almost impossible to come out to the main road to head westbound, as the subdivision to the south knows. So we had a conversation, and he says, well, what kind of use is reasonable to put here? Because can't put an office building, that's not reasonable with the traffic. Banks, restaurants, I'm reading off the list of permitted uses in CRC. Some of them are unrealistic, like school, museum, art gallery. And I said, one that produces very little traffic and very little parking demand. And he said, like self-storage? And I said, self-storage is perfect. You got low septic, you got low water, you got low parking. And he says, well, that's curious because that's what we've wanted to do for many years, but because it's not on the list of permitted uses, we've never even considered it. So I said, let's take a look and see what kind of variances that you would need to do this. As the board knows, the north and south side of Main Road, which this property fronts on 25, from 25 west to Route 105, that whole corridor on both north and south sides, that's zoned CRC. So, and it is mostly developed with the exception of a wetlands lot that's located from a distance over to the west side, but that has some wetlands issues. I think over the past few years, this board has been cognizant about Route 58 that the zoning have been outdated in some areas for many years, and hopefully with the update of the comprehensive plan, that will rectify a lot of the zoning issues that there are there. The board has listened and accepted property owners' equity arguments for change of use variances over the years, most recently being the European Wax and Aspen Dental over at the Costco property. A lot of those are, and then you've also listened to equity arguments as far as properties that are not on Route 58 in Riverhead. I remember being in the audience when you listened to Patrick Fadoon, Tara Lane Associates for 2 use variances for warehouse. And I also happened to be in the audience when you did a use variance for a young man named Jason Esposito for warehouse parts. And in all of those cases, the board received testimony, usually from a real estate salesperson or broker, an appraiser, that the permitted uses in those districts would not be suitable or successful, and I'm reading from a past ZBA decision, in the area that the proposed use, as it may exacerbate traffic or interfere with pedestrian traffic. And this board also, I think, is cognizant it's going to be several years, I think at least 2 years, before the comprehensive plan is updated to rectify all of the inadequacies that are going on in Route 58, particularly more with the destination retail areas where use variances were granted because those provisions of the code were adopted a long time ago when big box stores were in vogue, and they're not so much anymore. The other uses that are on the list, such as a bank, restaurant, townhouses, and the one that the client, the property owner, initially approached me with, would generate an appreciable amount of traffic, which is problematic on this area. I think it's not realistic to think that the town board is going to rezone all of the properties in this area, which are zoned CRC, to a single-family dwelling status. It's already mostly developed. I do think at some point when the comprehensive plan is updated, they'll probably take a lot of these other intensive uses out that I named that are currently permitted in CRC, but I think the use that is being proposed by the applicant hits all the check marks. As far as traffic, you're talking about 1 to 3 employees in the self-storage. I have here in the memorandum of support that I printed out for you that the commercial use, which would generate the least amount of traffic and parking, is a self-storage facility. And one of the instances I can give you for parking calculations is that for a self-storage facility, there's a 1 parking space for every 1,000 square feet of gross floor area. And you contrast that to the other permitted uses in the zoning district, such as office building, which is right next door, 1 space per 200 square feet, medical or dental office, 1 space per 150 square feet, banks, 1 space per 150 square feet, or restaurants, 1 space per 3 seats. And then you have townhouses, which is what they initially came to me with, which is 1.5 space per unit. So I think as far as the parking calculation, you can see that what we're proposing here, 13 total parking spaces for this building, as opposed to any other permitted uses, which we think would be almost double that of what I just listed. I attached an affidavit from the president of Inshore Construction, Robert Whitcomb. He stated in his affidavit that they've owned it for 36 years. They've tried for off and on throughout the years trying to market the property. The one thing that they keep hearing is, we don't like your list of permitted uses. Come back to us when you have other uses that are more, that would generate a little bit more income and a little bit less traffic impact. So he submitted an affidavit that says he's caught in the proverbial catch-22, and that he wants to develop the property, and he's attempted to sell it, and but has been told that the property is not desirable for the uses that is listed. As far as the use variance standards are concerned, I submitted a feasibility study from an appraisal company, made an evaluation. It's as stated in the past ZBA decisions, when you have found equity arguments as far as use variances, that a lot of your decisions state that applicants in those type of situations along Route 58 have faced unfortunate timing and market forces beyond its control, despite efforts to sell the property for permitted uses. The appraisal that I submitted states that there is a population increase over the past few decades in the Riverhead area, though it's not as high as I thought it would be. When I read it, I was a little surprised by that. The Riverhead area has seen increasing demand for self-storage uses in recent years, and the location of this property near 105 makes a self-storage use on this site highly desirable. Also, self-storage demand is not generated by the existence of a self-storage use itself, but is generated by local businesses and residents that need a place to manufacture and store items for population and businesses. As far as the second criteria for the use variance about the alleged hardship is unique and does not apply to a substantial portion of this neighborhood. As you know, this neighborhood is already substantially developed. Directly across the street is the Old Star Bowling Alley. Directly to the west is a medical office building. In front of the subject property is Dairyland Ice Cream. I should note that Mr. Bono has spoken with that property owner, and they have no objection to the proposed application. And across the street, next to All Star Bowling Alley, Scotty's D&E Tire Services, there is a vacant lot located a quarter mile to the west towards 25 West, and that lot contains Terry's Creek. I mentioned it earlier in the argument, and that's a wetland system that drains out into Meeting House Creek and has remained undeveloped because of DEC constraints. The third criteria for a use variance is that it would not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. I would submit that any of the permitted uses would greatly alter the character of the neighborhood, such as permitted use of a townhouse or garden apartments, banks, restaurants, and so forth of that matter. It should be noted that this property currently contains non-conforming uses with several structures, all with non-conforming setbacks. The front concrete building is only less than 30 feet from the front property line. The cottages that are along the side are probably 12 to 14 feet from the side property line. The proposed self-storage facility would have conforming setbacks, and it would be set back 170 feet from the road, where the concrete building now is less than 30 feet, I'm sorry if I said something different before, 30 feet from the road. So we are proposing substantial screening, so you wouldn't even see it as you're driving past until you get right up to it. Also, if you look at the survey, you'll see that there are 7 cesspools on the property that serviced at one time 4 cottages and the concrete building. And all of those cesspools would be abandoned and filled pursuant to health department standards, and a new septic system installed, which would require the least amount of gallonage as far as self-storage is concerned, because you're only going to have 1 or 2 bathrooms. I think you have to. So as far as septic system, that's going to be a low demand. As far as water, much lower demand than any of the uses that are permitted in this zoning district. And you can see by the chart that I posted that there will be substantial rear yard setback to the residential properties to the south of the property. And we are proposing landscaping and buffering. As far as the fourth criteria, the final one on the use variance, as far as hardship is self-created, we would submit that this has been the same property owner for 36 years. He's been waiting for the time to develop the property, and we feel that because of all the factors regarding that I just enumerated above for permitted uses, that the self-storage use would have the least impact commercial-wise on the community. Again, understanding that it's not reasonable to expect the town board is going to rezone this whole commercial corridor that's also mostly developed to a single-family dwelling, and that multifamily dwelling is not probably the most appropriate use for this site. There are several area variances that were also requested in this application. There's a floor area ratio of 0.4, where the maximum permitted is 0.2. It should be noted that if this property were connected to sewer, which it's not, but if it were connected to sewer, the maximum floor area ratio would be 0.5, which it would conform to. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that sometime in the future, the properties east of Northville Turnpike at some point in the future may be included in the sewer district. And if that time ever comes, this property would conform to the floor area ratio for properties located in the sewer district. As stated above, I'm just reading off my list here. The lot width, we would submit the property is not a perfect rectangle lot. It's cut out where Dairyland is. So the lot with the building is already there, it's already 30 feet, less than 30 feet from the road. And the commercial property has existed for many years, as evidenced by the LPU's understanding, though, that if the board were to approve this project, the other two remaining cottages, of course, would be demolished. We're asking for a lot coverage variance, also 4.8%. We submit that that's a de minimis request, in that we're taking non-conforming uses off the property and making the building conform as to front, side, and rear side yard setbacks. I have the applicant's agent here, from Inshore Construction. If you have any questions for us about the proposed project, we'd be happy to answer them, or if there's anybody here that would like to speak on it.
Anybody on the Zoom?
Hold on. Anyone on Zoom be heard on this matter? Speak up.
We're good.
Hold on now. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes,
And your name?
Victoria and Richard Holman.
What is it?
Victoria and Richard Holman, Homan. We're the owners of the Dairyland property.
Okay.
We're here to listen to what the people are proposing in their presentation. We only had the one concern about the visibility for Dairyland coming from the east. Also, the two-story building, storage facility they are building. But we've heard what they've had to say. We have no objection to the use.
You know, ma'am, we can't hear what you're saying. You're coming in gobbled.
I'm not exactly tech savvy, so can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
All right.
So are you in favor of this, or you're not in favor of it?
So far, so good. So far, we are in favor of what they're proposing.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have no objection
You
to
have no
it?
objection then?
No.
They're not gonna build an ice cream plant next to you.
Well, then maybe the ice cream price will be cheaper then.
No.
Anybody else? It's on the bottom.
Okay, if you have no problems with this, anyone else to be
It's on the
heard?
bottom, is it?
It's the lady from before.
That's, yeah, Jen Cole.
Oh, yeah,
she's
right.
still- yeah. All right, nobody else to be heard on this matter?
That's right.
There's a lot of things that have to be proved in the documents, and we're gonna...
Then we're gonna hold this off to the next meeting.
And I think we need to write all our questions down
Okay,
and maybe present them to the attorney if we can.
okay.
And then maybe you can answer them at the next meeting.
Okay, do you know what they are? I can,
Not yet.
Okay.
I've been reading the statute, and there are probably things that I need to try to get in writing to you. I'll do it through our attorney.
okay,
I think that's the best way to go.
Sure.
In this particular case. Just want to make sure that we meet all the criteria to a use variance, so that if we do approve it, cannot be challenged. So that's where I'm coming from. So
Sounds good to me.
there'll be some more questions.
What's the next meeting?
Today it's March 9th.
March 9th. Let's move it to March 9th.
That'll be enough, 2 weeks.
Adjourn?
We'll make it 4 weeks?
Dawn?
4 weeks or 2 weeks, Dawn?
Make it 2 weeks or 4 weeks?
God, March is here already, holy crow.
I think I'm taking off too. I think I'm going to Florida for a while.
Where's the owner?
They're both in Florida right now.
Oh, can they zoom in?
If they need me, yes. I'm here for them. I have consent by them, so.
Should swear.
okay. So you want the
I
the
have-
property owner come in?
They can do so.
That way, if they have any questions about what's in the affidavit, they can... Okay, so March 9th, then we'll have them, if they're
Are
not
you
back, they'll
comfortable
zoom
with
in.
the 9th, or do you want to go 4 weeks?
We could go for, only because I'm just
I
it's
know
gonna
you
take me
can.
2 weeks to catch up from what I just finished.
Was that the 23rd?
March 23rd.
Who's that, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
we'll probably have Bob here also at that hearing.
Okay,
Physically present, yeah.
all right, let's have a reading.
That would be smart.
Okay,
I appreciate that, guys.
Mr. Chairman, I respectfully move appeal number 2023-009 to March 23, 2023.
Second.
Mr. Barnes.
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo.
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So
Thank
see
you.
see you folks in 4 weeks.
Thank you for a very good
Thank you. Have a
presentation.
nice night.
Good job.
Thank you.
As always.
Good night, folks from the Dairyland.
Night.
Wait a minute. The folks with Dairyland, did you buy that from Sorensen?
Yes.
Wow. As a 12-year-old, I used to scoop ice cream there.
All right.
Good to see you, Mr. Barnes.
Have a nice night.
Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of the last
So
meeting?
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.